A slave-turned-warlord named Abraha stands at the gates of Mecca with the largest military force Arabia has ever seen.
60,000 men and more elephants are in my command! How once me Kaaba falls today!
A single man, an army of 60,000 soldiers, and one building that refused to fall.
His target, a simple stone structure called the Kaaba. His goal, total destruction. But why would someone risk everything to destroy a building? Here's what was eating Abraha alive. Mecca had no king, no government, no military, yet somehow it had become the beating heart of the entire Arabian Peninsula. Thousands of pilgrims flooded into this dusty town every single year, circling the Kaaba in worship, and with them came mountains of gold. The wealth was staggering, and Abraha, he couldn't stand it, so he hatched a plan. In his capital city of Sana'a in Yemen, he constructed the most magnificent church the Arab world had ever witnessed.
I shall build a sanctuary greater than the Kaaba. The world will turn its back on Mecca forever.
We're talking marble columns, jewels embedded in every wall, precious stones that glittered like stars. He poured his entire treasury into this masterpiece, convinced that once people saw it, they'd abandon the Kaaba forever. The church was finished. Abraha waited. Nobody came.
Not a single pilgrim changed course. They all kept heading to Mecca, to that plain cube of stone, ignoring his glittering cathedral completely.
The humiliation was unbearable. Now let me take you back, because Abraha's story doesn't start with power. It starts with chains. He wasn't born into royalty. He was a slave owned by a minor businessman in a forgotten corner of the Roman Empire. But fate had other plans. At that time, Yemen was locked in a brutal religious war, Jews versus Christians, blood for blood, massacre after massacre. When Jewish forces slaughtered Christian communities, the Roman Empire, still the superpower of the era, decided enough was enough. They needed a weapon, and that weapon was Abraha. The Romans sent him with 100 Zorzan troops to Yemen. He crushed the Jewish kingdom so completely that it ceased to exist. But victory changed him. Abraha tasted power, and he wanted more. So he did the unthinkable. He broke free from his Ethiopian overlords and declared Yemen his own independent kingdom. Ethiopia was furious. They sent an army to destroy this rebellious former slave. But here's the twist: when that army arrived, they killed their own general, laid his head at Abraha's feet, and joined him instead. Just like that, Abraha became the most powerful ruler in all of Arabia. His influence spread across the peninsula like wildfire, except for one stubborn little problem: Mecca. So when his glorious church project collapsed in failure, Abraha snapped. If he couldn't win their hearts, he'd crush their shrine. He assembled 60,000 soldiers, loaded up war elephants, and marched toward Mecca with one mission: erase the Kaaba from existence. As Abraha's army swept through the region, looting and terrorizing everything in their path, they finally reached Mecca. Abraha summoned the city's leader.
A man named Abdul Muttalib stood before this terrifying warlord. Do you know what he said?
You've taken my camels, and I want them back. I come here with an army to destroy your most sacred site, and you're worried about camels? I am the owner of my camels, but that house its own owner, and he will protect it. I'll tell you this much: no one has ever succeeded in harming it, and neither will you.
Then he turned and walked away. The next morning, Abraha gave the order: attack. But his lead war elephant, the one meant to charge first, suddenly stopped, refused to move. Trainers beat it, pulled it, screamed at it. The beast wouldn't budge toward the Kaaba. Yet when they turned it away from Mecca, it walked perfectly fine. And then the sky darkened. Flocks of birds appeared, species no one had seen before and would never see again. Each one carried 3 stones, one in its beak, one in each claw, and they didn't just drop them randomly. They targeted Abraha's soldiers with surgical precision. The moment those stones hit flesh, something horrific happened. Skin began to rot and peel away instantly. Bodies disintegrated while soldiers were still screaming. Bones became visible through dissolving tissue. Modern historians believe this was an extreme outbreak of smallpox. But the timing, the precision, the sheer devastation, it was unlike anything recorded before or since. Abraha's 60,000-strong army shattered. They fled in absolute terror, leaving their weapons, their supplies, their dignity scattered across the desert. The former slave who conquered kingdoms couldn't conquer a single building. Word of this catastrophe spread like lightning across Arabia. The Quraysh tribe of Mecca became legends overnight, the people protected by the divine, the city that could not be touched. Pilgrims came in even greater numbers. Wealth poured in. The annual Okaz fair grew into the largest gathering in the Arab world. Mecca's golden age had begun, but that same year, something else happened. In the greatest temple in Persia, a sacred fire that had burned for 1,000 years suddenly went out. And on that exact same night, in Mecca, an orphan boy was born. His name was Muhammad, and he would change the world forever.